Good morning, Mike and Arlen. Our Philippine journey. Nice of you to join us. Thank you so much. The tax man got me. God, this is something that you dread, something that expats dread, something that non expats dread. I mean, if you're an American, I don't know what it's like in the UK or in Australia or any of Canada, but one of the few things that can make a grown man shudder is to receive a notice from the IRS. And I just got one. So, you know, maybe you can learn something from this. Maybe it will give you an idea. Maybe, you'll say, hey, Mike, you screwed up. Who knows? Whatever the point is, or whatever you get from it, this is just, how I'm grateful we had things set up correctly. But in turn, yeah, I screwed up and the tax man got me. So let's talk about it.
Why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, cause I got no chance when it comes to her. She got the glitter and the fame, and I just wasn't enough.
Okay, so I can't speak to any other country but the United States. I don't pay taxes in any country but the United States, personal taxes or corporate taxes. All right, Arlen pays personal taxes here in the Philippines, but I don't. Now, with that being said, last week, and let me just preface this by saying, totally my fault. Absolutely my fault. I wish I could rant and rave that it wasn't, but no, it was my fault. So last week, in fact, it was a week ago tomorrow, I got an email from my CPA in the United States. And this is what it said. Hi, Mike. We received this notice for you in our mail. It shows that you have a balance due of no need for you to know. All right. And should be paid immediately. We went back through our records we don't have copies of, and this was a particular transaction. Therefore, was not reported in your 2023 tax returns. Yeah, 2023. The IRS apparently they don't sleep. Please sign and date the response form. Return it to us. We'll return it to the form to the IRS. And here's where you make your payment instructions. And they give you this link. And then there are some fields, and you get different choices in those fields when you go to that link. And my CPA's assistant, said, hey, the type of the reasons balance due, payment applied is to this, and tax year is that. And there's more to this. All right, there was a PDF of the full document, and there's much more to the document. But I'm like, holy crap! Now I got this on a Friday. I got this last Friday, and but I didn't see it until Saturday, or I didn't pay attention to it until Saturday, and then on Saturday, my CPA. So I was like, hold on a second, this is wrong. I've been using the same CPA for 30 plus years. All right. I'm very conscious about filing taxes. Is this real? Did their system get hacked? But the email addresses all look good. The direct pay address all look good. Everything checked out. But I'm going to wait until Monday, which is going to be Tuesday here in the Philippines, to contact my CPA and find out, hey, is this real? Did we screw up? Do I really owe them that much money? And while it wasn't such a huge number, okay, it was a 5-digit number, and it was like, man, I can't believe this. I really can't. Well, just so happens that on Monday here, Sunday in the US, I received this letter from the IRS. It's like, holy shit, this is actually real, right? Because, the Internal Revenue Service knows that we live here in the Philippines, all right? The Social Security knows we live here in the Philippines. Our addresses are listed, the whole 9 yards. So I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding? This looks real. I actually owe them. So you read the form, all right? So this is the full form. And then I'm not going to show you the full form because of personal information, but it comes up and so nicely, so gently, the IRS says, hey, this isn't a bill, but did you forget to include something on your return? We found some differences between what you reported on your tax return and what we received from either a third party or an employer or a financial institution for 2023. Please review it, complete the response form, because there is a section at the bottom you have to complete, return, and sign, and return it. So what happens is that you have to either agree or disagree, and it doesn't waive your rights to anything. But, here's this form, and I'm like, shit, what am I going to do? How am I going to deal with this crap? All right. And so, I'm still thinking, what's going on here? So Tuesday rolls around. I call my CPA and I talk to him. And sure enough, yes. And I see exactly what happened. I understand exactly what happened. And it's like, I can't believe I did that. I cannot believe I did it. It was totally my fault. Totally my fault. I wish I could say, hey, your office screwed up or they screwed up or so forth, because I was thinking, okay, you know what? If my CPA made a mistake and, I've been paying taxes for 50 years. I have filed a U.S. tax return for 50 plus years, ever since I was 16. Okay. And I'm over 66. So, I've been filing tax returns. I never cheat on my taxes. I never screw around with it. It's the one thing I hate to do. I've been audited twice by the IRS. They've audited my personal returns and my corporate returns on both events. Walked out, not a problem. And I shouldn't even say I walked out. I didn't even show up for the audit, the interview with the IRS auditor. My CPA went. That's part of what I pay him for. Okay. Then if it was necessary for me to show up, I would show up. And both times, came out smelling like a rose. Totally fine. Not a problem. So anyways, I'm like, man, I can't believe this. I don't do this. I don't make these mistakes. But could you make a mistake? Are you doing your reporting? Are you doing it on time? And quite frankly, on time is a pretty important question because of this. All right. In the form, they're showing me what my interest rate on the penalty is every quarter. All right. Add it up. That is loan shark. The IRS is like a loan shark. It's compounding each time. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I'm thinking, okay, you know what? Because the interest on the penalty was significant. So I'm like, you know what? You're going to owe me. This is what's going through my mind. I'm getting ready to say, you know what? I'm just going to tell my CPA that he's going to have to write off his bill for this year, which we just recently filed. Okay. He's going to have to write off his fees for that to offset or help offset this penalty. And my taxes now are simple. They are very, very simple. It's not complicated. My corporation is closed. All right. All my corporate businesses are done. Stuff is all, it's just really very simple. But I enjoy catching up and talking to my CPA. Known him since 1990. I've been with him since 1994. All right. So, his family, I know his family. I know his kids. I went to one of his kids' weddings. All right. So, it is what it is. But I had to go through all of that. So, the first thing that I think we should gain from this is did you burn all your bridges at home? All right. Would you have gotten this notice here in the Philippines? Would you have gotten this notice? Because it takes from mail, sometimes it can take a month or two for mail from the US to actually get delivered to me. All right. The penalties, the amount of time. Would you be able to research it? Don't burn all your bridges and in turn pay your obligations. Now, I've never cheated on my taxes, but I have a CPA, and that CPA uses every legal loophole he can so that I pay the least amount I can. And that's what those laws are for. You can call them a loophole, but that's the regulations and the laws, and they exist for people to use them. And I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. So, yeah, I did all that, got it all done, but they tracked me down even here in the Philippines. All right. The IRS made no qualms about it whatsoever. All right. Very nice letter from them, I'm going to admit. It was very polite. But it is what it is. Okay, so did we learn anything from this? I hope we learned a little bit. Did Mike have to pay? Yeah, Mike had to pay. In fact, all right, Mike paid immediately. There's the confirmation. I've redacted all the pertinent information. As soon as I found out, yeah, I owed it, I paid it. Okay? Now, what is interesting to me, okay? What's interesting is that the IRS didn't waste any time. All right. So when you go through this portal, through the IRS portal, it's an ACH bank transfer. I put that in at maybe 2:00 yesterday. It's already hit my bank account at 5:00 in the morning here in the Philippines. They didn't waste any time at all. So, I took the hit there and then, and then I took care of some regular banking. The peso rate was 61.72 yesterday afternoon for a while. And I did a transfer to take advantage of that, in advance. And so, but my point is you've got to stay on top of this stuff because the interest rates you accumulate, the amount of money you're going to end up owing adds up pretty quick. And it adds up at a pretty substantial number. How would you take care of it? Are you putting money? Do you have money set aside for emergency or I wouldn't call this an emergency. I would just call it a non-scheduled event, all right, an unexpected expense. But, are you prepared for that? Should you be prepared for that? I think you should. That's for sure. I'm glad we were. That's for sure. And we took care of it immediately. So, I don't know. In the comments, let us know. Please do subscribe, hit the thumbs up, follow, share, all that good stuff. Otherwise, thanks. Have a great, safe day.